Welcome to Health and Information for September of 2024. I'm Dr. James Bisland. Our topic today is going to be health, as we know that a lot of our foods today don't provide us with the vitamins and minerals, the essential components of what we need to maintain healthy lifestyle. So our guest today is Mr. Elmer Heinrich, who is going to be also known as Mr. H. He has done extensive research in nutrition and vitamins and minerals. We actually met close to 30 years ago when we got involved in the nutrition part of our practice for our ADD, ADHD, because of the amino acids were in his product called Liquid Life at the time. So during the program today, he's going to tell you a lot about himself, his history, the research, the state of nutrition today, synthetic nutrition versus natural, and the essential minerals that come with it. Join us for Health and Information as we explore modern day nutrition.
Thank you, Dr. Bisland. Yes, as he mentioned, Elmer Heinrich here. Everybody calls me Mr. H. Yes, and I am 90 years old. Born March the 9th, 1934. Think about that. Born in a railroad boxcar in the plains of western Kansas. 7 children. My mother and father lived there in this cold boxcar until I was 14 years old. Went to a small country grade school. Eventually ended up in a little larger high school, graduated one of the top of my class, tried to go to college, did not get a college education. I enrolled at Fort Hays State University 2 weeks after I began. I was taking a marketing class. My instructor, I didn't figure he knew anything about marketing, and I'd ask him if he'd ever made a cold call. A cold call in sales means that you made a call on somebody without an appointment. So I asked him if he ever made a cold call. He said no. He said, I've never been to Alaska. Well, 45 minutes later, I was in my car headed back home. I never looked back. I've got just as good an education as anybody that ever graduated from a college. IQ was 165, not bragging. I just have a photographic memory, I guess. I remember everything I've ever read, everything I've ever heard, I think all of my life. Anyway, I ended up, when I was going to high school, working for an irrigation drilling company, learned how to drill wells. Later, I ended up with a irrigation drilling company called S&H Drilling Company. We drilled wells in South Dakota, Nebraska, Colorado, and western Kansas. And that led me from there to purchasing other things. I sold it and ended up with a Robo car wash in Arkansas. At the time, Hillary Clinton and Vince Foster and the Rose Law Firm were my lawyers, if you can believe it. And overall, to make everything, if I was to tell you everything that happened to me in my business life, it would take all day. But I'm trying to get all this condensed to a half an hour. But I've been in 40 countries. I have owned businesses in 7 countries. The drilling company, I'm the founder of the Hotse Corporation that started in Denver, Colorado, became one of the largest hot pressure steam cleaner companies in the country, in the world actually. I went from there and purchased the Robo car wash in Arkansas, one of the very first automatic car washes ever made. So then I started the Rockland Corporation in Tulsa. And that's where we came up with this big bottle that's still on the highway at Interstate 44 on the east edge of Tulsa, called Liquid Life. I built a large building there, and this bottle, of course, was there to handle our minerals. And it is still situated on Highway or Interstate 44, and now I understand it's in the world or the National Archives, believe it or not. So it can't be torn down. Millions of people have seen it. But what happened when how I got into the Rockland Corporation was I was introduced to a mineral in Utah by an old gentleman that convinced me that it was a different type mineral than I could get anywhere else. He wanted me to get into the business, and I kept telling him, Ed Morgan was his name. I said, Ed, why would I want that kind of competition? I can probably buy minerals from 200 locations in Tulsa. He said, not like this mineral. And he explained to me that this came from plants. It didn't mean anything to me. He tried to convince me to buy it. He sent me a gallon of it. I had it there for a month or two, and my wife kept saying, what are you going to do with this? So I called him and I said, what do I do with this product? And he said, take an ounce of it a day. I did. And man, I mean, in 2 weeks, truthfully, I was chasing my wife around the house. I got to be very truthful with you. It really changed my life. I went back and found out and met the people who discovered this in 1931. They had a very small mining operation. It never sold to many people. But I got impressed with it and started buying it from this outfit. And we sold, as I remember, something like 165,000 bottles of it the first year. And we called it Body Toddy. Body Toddy was a very famous name. In fact, this is the first bottle of Body Toddy that was ever made. It was pure minerals. It has 70 minerals in it. And we get these minerals by mining what is known as Manco Shale. A large operation out there opened our first mine in 1986. That's 42 years ago. Manco Shale, it consists of plants, about 600 plants. Now, shale is normally associated with petroleum, but if you look up Mancos, M-A-N-C-O-S, shale, you'll find that it consists of prehistoric plants that supposedly grew between 85 million years and 65 million years ago. All the earth was covered with plants at that time. And now, Manco Shale, of course, was called Humic Shale at one time, but now the name is Mancos, and it has more than 70, actually it has somewhere around 85 minerals in it. We mine this Manco Shale just like you would mine coal under the watchful eyes of the Bureau of Land Management and everything. Comes out of the ground the size of your fist, some of the size of a walnut. It's ground down, pure black. Put it in large food-grade tanks. Put pure water on it, distilled water on it. We have 16 6,000-gallon tanks. Open top, tapered bottoms up off of the floor. Put pure water on this material. Let it sit there for 8, 9, 10 days. And all the organic matter that's in here leaches out and becomes part of the liquid. Now, after we get it to the viscosity that we want, we run this through a series of filters, 25 micron, 10 micron, 5 micron, 2 micron, then a 0.2 micron, which is like pumping the liquid through a book, 1 inch thick. Now, there's mineral solids in this. This is how it looks when it gets through the filter. There's a lot of mineral solids in here, but you can't see them. They stay in suspension forever because they're colloidal. Now, this is a plant-derived mineral. What's the difference between this and the normal mineral that you've been associated with all your life? Everything in the ground is a metallic mineral. Aluminum, lead, copper, that's all metallic. That's metals in their metal form, raw form. The body has a hard time assimilating it. But now when a plant grows, it pulls that metallic mineral through its root system and through a process called photosynthesis to scientists. Mother Nature breaks this metallic mineral down many times in size. If it was the size of my fist, using as an example as a metal, a plant mineral would be half the size or a quarter the size of my small fingernail. It breaks it down thousands of times in size. It attaches it to a hydrogen molecule. It changes the metallic mineral from a positive electrical charge to a negative electrical charge. So there's nothing like it. It's completely different. It is 100% assimilated by Mother Nature as the plant is growing. A plant mineral doesn't have to be digested by the body. It's already pre-digested. It goes to work immediately when you consume it. Now, we came out with Body Toddy as an example, and we had it as a liquid, just like this, in this bottle. We were selling it all over the United States, and we began to sell overseas. And of course, liquid is really heavy, as you know, weighs 8.3 pounds. This weighs 8.6 pounds per gallon. So freight was a problem. So we began to freeze dry it. We take all the liquid off of this particular product by freeze drying it, or what we call spray drying. And when we're done, this is the amount of powder that's in this suspension that you cannot see. This powder is now utilized, sold all over the world, commercially in 20 kilo drums, which is 44 pounds. It's sold, as an example, to the largest cattle feed supplier in India that adds it in cattle feed. It's sold to the largest chicken feed supplier in Bulgaria, added to chicken feed. In Australia, it's added to the drinking water of dairy cows. It's increased the nutritional value by 15%. The protein value in milk by 15%. This product is used in many things. It's used in cosmetics. Estee Lauder has purchased, everybody knows about Estee Lauder, a large cosmetic company. They've purchased this product since 1998. They have it in many, many cosmetic products. There's nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like this product anywhere. It's added to dog food, it's added to chicken feed. A quarter teaspoon of this in a quart of water is an excellent house plant. There's 70 minerals in here, 70, where fertilizer has 4. NPK has 4 minerals. You can, absolutely, it's expensive, but if you fertilize your land, your wheat or your corn or anything else with all these minerals, you would not believe what it would do for you. The nutritional value would be increased by at least 100%. The reason the world is sick today, and I know this because I've been in this business now for 40 years, I know the reason the world is sick is because of lack of minerals. Now, I always knew this when I got in the business, but I ended up buying a cancer hospital in Rosarito Beach, Mexico, by the name of Hospital Santa Monica. When I purchased this hospital, 76 beds, there were 8 doctors there from the United States, medical doctors. All of them had had 10 years or more of education, medical. And when I had my first meeting with them, I said, "Gentlemen, what are you doing down here? Why aren't you treating cancer in the United States?" They said, "Mr. Heinrich, you really can't treat cancer in the United States because you can only use surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation or you lose your license." I said, "You got to be kidding me." That's fact. That's the reason we're down here. We want to cure cancer. Okay? How are we going to do it? Well, they had all kinds of protocols working. But the big thing that I was interested in, when I introduced them to our minerals, they were appalled. These 8 doctors that all went to medical school had never heard of more than 18 minerals. That baffled me. Now, what we did down there, with all the other, a lot of different protocols, but all the people that came down there, 95% of them were from the United States. Some come from China, Australia, all over the world, begging to be saved. The people from the United States, when we interviewed them, every one of them had been told by their doctor, you know, you only got 30 days to live. You need to go home, get close to your church and your family, because we can't do any more for you. Now they come down there begging to be saved. We didn't have any options. Now we recommend 600 to 900 milligrams of this a day. We gave these people over 30,000. We gave them 30 times, 35 times more minerals than we suggested here. We also gave them 2 hours of oxygen therapy. liquid. Now, we kept them 3 weeks, sent them home, monitored them for 4 months by calling them twice a week to make sure they were still following our protocol. 83 out of 100 got over cancer. 83 over 100. That's what convinced me that the reason we are sick is because we lack minerals. Now, the average person watching this video has never had over 12 minerals in their life, maybe 15 at the most, because our topsoils are so depleted of minerals. The foods do not have more than 12 minerals in them, and most of them don't have more than 8. You cannot find a supplement out there now, just about, unless you're buying minerals from our mine, you can't find a supplement that's got over 8 or 9 minerals in it. I mean, look at it. Look at the minerals that you take, the people watching this video. Check the supplement that you're taking. I'll guarantee you, if it hadn't come from our mine, it doesn't have more than 10 minerals in it. And you wonder why it's not doing you any good. It's not doing you any good because you're not getting enough minerals. Your body needs 60 minerals every day if you really want to be healthy. What can you do if you only get 8 or 9 minerals? Nothing. Your sickness is going to be the same 5 years from as it is today as it was 5 years ago, or it will be 5 years from now. You need minerals. If you don't get enough minerals, you're not going to survive very long, I'll guarantee you. Now, that's the reason it's so important to buy this or to purchase this type of mineral. We have it in bulk, where people can purchase it like this and take a half a teaspoon. We have all the instructions. Half a teaspoon, as an example, in a quart of water is fabulous for a cat drink. If you want to fertilize your house plants, half a teaspoon in a quart of water. If you want to take it yourself, a full teaspoon in a gallon of water to drink is incredible. Many mothers buy this powder, put it in large salt shakers, sprinkle it on the green beans, on the mashed potatoes, everything as they're cooking, so that the entire family can get some minerals. On and on and on. Now, I said I've been around a lot in a lot of things. The mining experience was a real eye-opener for me. I had no idea that this kind of material was located in the world, and it is all over the world. All plants is all called Manco shale, but it may be a foot thick or a vein 1.5 feet thick, 2 feet thick, but 50 feet under the ground, so it's not feasible to mine it. Now, we were lucky enough to find an area in Emery County, Utah, that's southeast Utah, 900 acres there, where the Manco shale is somewhere between 20 and 30 feet thickness. So it's easy to mine, and it's the only place where it's been found. So naturally, plants grew all over the world. This is the only place where enough of these plants have accumulated to make up this vein called Manco shale, and that's where our mining operation is located. Now, we have people coming to us from all over the world wanting to buy this product because they've heard about it. Now, we took and developed what we call Immuno150. This is what we have on television. I'm actually on TV, on Fox News and Newsmax, advertising this product. And so what we did, we took the 70 plant minerals, and we had a product called, we had a vitamin product that had 80 nutrients in it, a very unusual product, strictly a vitamin. It had everything in it the body needed except minerals. And we sold a bunch of that many, many years ago. It's in our catalog. And I got the bright idea not long, 15, 14 years ago. You know, why don't we go ahead and add this vitamin and combine the minerals together? And we had biochemists at UCLA in Los Angeles experiment with this, and they mixed the 80 vitamins we had in the product with our minerals, and we came out with a product called Immuno150. The 80 vitamins and the 70 minerals is the reason for the 150. We call it Immuno150, and it's got everything in it the body needs, everything the human body needs every day to get healthy and to stay healthy. Maybe a little more protein is needed. A few nuts give you that extra protein, but everything else is in this product. No one needs to take anything else. If they would take this, they'll get everything their body needs, and they'll get healthy and stay healthy. Now, I've been taking the minerals, which we also have in a capsule form. Been taking them for, I think, now since 1983. As I said earlier, I'm 90 years old. I can do anything I've done in my life. My wife is 81. She's been taking them as long as I have. She can do anything she did years ago. We can go out and play golf. We can swing dance for 2 hours. I played in the World Amateur Golf Tournament for 8 straight years. I've always had to play with people 10 to 15 years younger than me because they only have a category for age 75. There's 44 people in a flight. I've always been in the top 10. I've won it a couple of times, always in the top 2 or 3 or 4, and nobody can understand that because at 89, 88 years old, I still had a handicap at a 10. Now, I signed up this year to go in the World Amateur Tournament, paid my dues in early spring, but because of the explosive growth of Immuno150, I never had a chance to play one single round of golf this year, so I ended up not going. I really wanted to go down there and prove that I still had a 10 handicap at 90 years old, but I decided not to because we were just too busy. So I'm one of these guys that gets to my office every morning by 5 o'clock or before. I haven't worked less than a 14-hour day in I don't know how many years, and it doesn't bother me. I have all the energy I need, and I know 100% of it is because of the 70 minerals. Now, as I was growing up, and in all my business ventures, as I said, I had businesses in 7 countries. I visited 40 countries. I had to have a way to get around because we were working in 4 states with a drilling company, and a couple of pilots convinced me that I needed to buy an airplane. I'd never been on an airplane at the time, but I heard that there was a drilling outfit in Nebraska that was available if I could help hire them to drill some of our wells, because we had 60 wells ahead of us contracted. I hired these 2. One was a Korean War ace, one was a Vietnam War ace, and I hired them to fly me to Nebraska because I wanted to make sure I got back. They set me in the back seat. We flew up. We flew out about 4 o'clock in the morning. We were on our way back about 9 in the morning after I made a deal with these people, and they made me sit in the front seat on the left side, or first on the right side, and I didn't want to, but they forced me to. We're on our way back, and they said, you have so many rigs running, and you can't drive all the time. You really ought to have an airplane. I said, I could never fly. Oh, yeah, you can. Put your hand on the wheel, or they call it the yoke. I did. It was a twin engine. No, this was a twin engine airplane. Anyway, they were talking to me, and they finally said, you really need to have an airplane. I said, well, I can't fly. Oh, yes, you can. The guy took his hands off the wheel, and man, I'm up and down and all that. I begged them to take the thing. Wasn't long I had it straightened out, and they said, you need an airplane. Now, they said, we know a guy that's got a Cessna 150, a Skylane available, and he got it for sale. It's only got 36 hours, got brand new. Oh, who's that? Guy by the name of Willis Hockersmith. I said, well, God, I drilled a well for him. I knew him. And said, well, he's got it for sale. And I said, well, I might be interested. They got on the radio and patched him in, And by the time we landed in Goodland, Kansas, where I was located, Willis was there with his airplane at the airport. And we went in and had lunch, the two pilots and me and him, with Mr. Hockersmith, and I made a deal and purchased the airplane. And the guy that did flying lessons was there in the place, and he said, "Well, if you're going to buy an airplane, we might as well learn to fly. Let's take Mr. Hockersmith home, and we'll start right now." This was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we did stop and goes and stalls and everything that you do when you're learning to fly. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, he said, "Pull." This is a country airport. He said, "Pull over to the side of the runway." He said, "I got to go to the bathroom, you know." And I pulled over, and the motor's running, and he gets out, closes the door. He said, "Take it around." And he closed the door, and I reached over and opened the door, and I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Take it around." I said, "I can't fly this thing." He said, "You've been flying it for an hour. Take it around." He said, "You don't have a hair, and you know what, if you don't go." So I went and started. I soloed 4 hours after I bought an airplane. I hadn't been on an airplane that morning, but 13 hours later or 11 hours later, I guess, I had soloed. So I ended up with 1,800 hours, instrument rating, flew twins after that. So I've been kind of a gutsy guy. I would try anything. I did a lot of patent work. I applied for 17 patents. 18 patents were approved. As I said, at 90 years old, you do a lot of things. And if I went through and told this podcast, this video, everything that I did, it would take another couple of days. In my business life, I encountered some real famous people. I had Joe Namath, a very famous quarterback in football, under contract for 2 years. Also Charlie Batch, another quarterback. And Doug Williams, a guy that used to be quarterback, actually in one of Tulsa's, when they had a professional team. They were all under contract. I dealt a lot with Hank Williams. It's before I met my wife, I dated some pretty important people, including Jill St. John, a movie star. So I've been around and not afraid to do anything. I've done a lot of planning to build all my companies. I've had 9 of them total, I think. But the big thing, if you get a plan that's right, you got to have the intelligence, the integrity, and the, not be afraid of anything, and initiate that, execute the plan. And that's one thing that I've been lucky enough to do. I've been able to surround myself with some outstanding people help working for me. And many of them have passed away by now. Some are still alive, living all over the world. And all I can do is thank God for some of the things I've been able to do, like Liquid Life as an example. We ended up getting this in Sam's Club. Everybody knows Sam's Club. You can't believe what happened there. They promoted the dickens out of it, and we got a purchase order from, I think they wanted to do a big promotion for 480,000 or 455,000 bottles. We had a big plant doing liquids, making Liquid Life. We had so many pallets sitting around. We had 1,300 pallets in our warehouse. Of course, a lot of that was inventory. So we had all of our pallets full. The aisles were all full. We shipped 23 truckloads of a Liquid Life, loaded it for Sam's Club in one day. People say that's hard to believe, but that's exactly what happened. Very successful. And the same thing is happening with Immuno150. We sell thousands of bottles every day. Our business is going up right now at about 7-8% per month. Think about that, per month. When you compound things like that, our reorder rate is over 95%. You cannot believe how many people we have on auto ship. And the word of mouth advertising right now is doing us more good than our national advertising. We're spending $130,000, $140,000 a week on TV, which isn't very much compared to some people, but we're bringing in twice that, just in new customers most of the time. So it's worth it. I'm probably even going to increase that from this point on. But the big thing, we ask everybody who calls in as a new customer, how did you hear about us? Well, my neighbor told me about it, or my friend told me about it, or my sister told me about it. Some people said, I heard about it in church. They're talking about it on the pulpit. So there's a lot of word of mouth going on out there that really helps us, and it cuts down on our advertising costs, but increases our sales. You know, those are the kind of things that I think we just have to thank God for, because it just doesn't come natural. If the product wasn't doing a lot of good, nobody would talk about it. We're 95% reorder rate. The industry is 32%. Now think about that. We're 3 times more reorder rate than the average nutritional supplement that's sold on the market. Now, when I talk about important people, when I had Robo in Silent Springs, Arkansas, the law firm that was there when I bought the company was the Rose Law Firm in Little Rock, Arkansas. I got involved with them. My main attorney was Watt Gregory. One attorney was Vince Foster, who supposedly shot himself. The other was Hillary Clinton, believe it or not. And that's a story on its own. But that's the kind of people that we were involved in all of my business life, and on and on and on. When my wife and when I retired, we moved to Florida, moved into a community called Admiral's Cove, which I think is the wealthiest community, I think, in the United States. Now you can't buy a house there for under $8.5 million, the cheapest house you can get. But we went to Mar-a-Lago a lot. I knew Donald Trump. In fact, we had Thanksgiving dinner there in 1999, I think it was, when he was married to Marla. And that's no big deal, but I think he's a pretty sharp guy myself. And on and on and on, but I think that's enough. The big thing I wanted to emphasize to all of you is that minerals are the most important thing for your health. You need to get your children on it. We got all of our grandchildren on it at a young age. All of them went to large schools. Most of them were top of their class. All of them ended up with unbelievable degrees. My oldest grandson graduated from the Naval Academy. On this when he was 10 years old. Graduated from the Naval Academy. I think got beat out. He was second. He got beat by 1/100th of a point in grade average. The government put him on a nuclear sub for 7 years as a second officer on the submarine. Then they transferred him to Los Animas, in New Mexico, the big nuclear facility out there that covers, 30 sections of land or something. He's 42 years old, and today he guides just about 100 nuclear chemists, nuclear physicists, everything. And it's pretty incredible. A 42-year-old man, some of these people are, 55, 60 years old, good education, but this, you talk about brilliant. And I believe the brilliance comes from all of my grandkids from taking 70 minerals. I believe it helps their physical development, their mental development by far, and for sure, I believe it helps them retain what they hear. And I believe that's what's happened to me. I write all my own newsletters, all my own marketing programs, everything. I don't depend on anybody. I do it myself. And people said at 90 years old, you should be not even able to drive. I'd go out here and challenge a race driver today. Nothing scares me. Nothing makes any difference to me. I can do exactly the same thing I did when I was 50. Definitely when I was 60. Now, I can't lift as much as I used to. Some things can. I used to be able to take 200 pounds and put it up over the bed of a pickup truck. And I have to admit, now I have to struggle to do 70 pounds. But I run the pallet trucks in our warehouse. I do everything. It doesn't make any difference to me. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, it's all because of this product. And this product is effective because of this product, the minerals. And I'm available, incidentally, if you want to call our toll-free number, 888-316-2224. Our website is www.immuno150.com. Now go on there, you can see everything about our product. If you want to go on to the mineral base, you go on to SenTraMin.com. SenTraMin is the name of our minerals. Now why do we call it SenTraMin? Because the area of the world between 85 million years and 65 million years ago, when all these plants grew, was not only the Cretaceous area, it was all known as the Senonian area, Senonion. So SenTraMin is the acronym for Senonian. SenTraMin Minerals is an acronym for Senonian. That's how we came up with that particular name. And it is available by going on to www.SenTraMin.com. Now, when you open the home page, you see the first mine that we opened, the 2 portals. You'll see the buildings we built, the leach tanks and the storage tanks. And if you go to the top of the home page and click on product specifications, and then after you get that open, you click on C of A, which is Certificate of Analysis, and it'll show you all the 70 or 75 minerals that's in this bottle and in this product. That's all I've got to say today, Dr. Bislin. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. H., for taking the time to go over all that information with us. If any of you have any questions, you have seen the information, phone number, web pages for the products on the screen. You can always ask us if you are in the clinic as well. And we thank you for your time today. This is an issue of health and information. So have a healthy, happy, and safe time. We'll see you next time.